Thank you. Good evening, council members, state officials and representatives, and members of the public. This is a special meeting of the Social Equity Council, which I am calling to order. It is now 6:01 p.m. At this time, I'll call the roll. Councilor Abercrombie,
Present.
Councilor Beeman,
Present.
Councilor Betts,
Present.
Councilor Borges. I am here. Councilor Gaddis, Councilor Hawkins,
Present.
Councilor Jefferson,
Here.
Councilor Karpowitz, Councilor Medina, Councilor Name, Councilor Shirley,
Here.
Councilor Skyers Thomas, Councilor Valeries,
Present.
Councilor Venator, Councilor Walton. Okay, we have a quorum. Our first business item on the agenda is approval of the Miranda Creative Marketing contract, and I will turn it over to Director McGee for context, and I'll entertain a motion afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And also thank you to all of our counselors for being here this evening. Madam Chair, I know that Councilors Naeem, Gaddis also joined us. So glad to have them. They came in after roll call. All right. Georgette, do you mind sharing your screen? If not Georgette, Madi, so that I can kind of give some context here. Thank you. So while my team is pulling up a couple of the slide decks, I do want to just provide a little bit of context for all of you. As we continue implementing recommendations from our 3-year, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I was gonna wait. That's why I raised my hand.
Oh.
Apologies. I just realized I called the roll and I failed to include our newest counselor, which is Greg Davis. I usually do those welcomes at our official meetings, so my apologies.
Please go for it. It'll give us time to get our stuff together with my presentation that I don't see.
Okay, and thank you to Councilor Betts for flagging that for me. So Councilor Davis, welcome. I don't know if you wanted to say a few words. You are welcome to, or we can just acknowledge that you are here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. I look forward to serving on this council with you all. Appreciative of the appointment from the speaker. And if you have any questions for me, be happy to jump offline and meet you all in a little bit more detail. But happy to be here. Thank you.
Happy to have you. Thank you. That's it for me.
Okay. That was too quick for me. Madi, do you mind pulling that up? There you go. Thank you so much. All right. So again, welcome. As we continue implementing recommendations, if you can just go back to that first slide deck, recommendations from our 3-year strategic plan. As you all know, we identified 11 initiatives aligned to the 4 focused areas that you see on the screen: staff, council, community, industry, all designed to achieve our newly revised mission and vision. And for context and background information for today's vote, we will specifically focus on Initiative 9 under end-to-end journey experience, which recommends improving the overall end-to-end social equity entrepreneur journey, which is also outlined within our strategic plan, but essentially will allow the SEC staff to streamline processes and to ensure clear communications with our customers and other stakeholders by helping entrepreneurs navigate regulatory requirements and access resources more easily. Next slide, please. One of the things that I really think is important is to really hone in on the vendor. So just really quickly, the contract that is before you today is the Miranda Creative Initiative, or Inc., excuse me. She and her company, they're a pre-approved vendor under the umbrella contract engaged by DAS, the Department of Administrative Services, as well as a respected and established brand management agency located in DIA, specifically Norwich. And the purpose of this contract is to provide the Social Equity Council with strategic communications, including developing a cohesive look and feel for all of our community engagement tools that align with our mission and approved strategic plan. Again, services under this scope of work will also help Initiative 9, which I've already shared with you, of the strategic plan that highlights the end-to-end journey experience. As you can see, support and enhance access to resources and information, and support reducing barriers that might be in place that's hindering a lot of our social equity entrepreneurs as they navigate through the Social Equity Council. So the Miranda Creative Scope of Work, as defined by the RFP, and also updated to reflect the strategic plan, will be driven by 3 very key areas, and you see them outlined here. 1, strategic communications on our reinvestment program, which we renamed Reimagine and Reimagine and Reinvest, our loan and workforce development program, and other partnerships. In column 2, we have our end-to-end journey by developing a clear path for our social equity entrepreneurs, creating and adding resources to support them through their different processes. Some of those processes include social equity plans, workforce development plans, our loan program, to name a few. And also identifying technology to enable team delivery and to enhance that experience. And then lastly, within column 3, under community engagement, you'll find that it's going to be important with the onset of federal changes and a shift on all things related to equity. We must be prepared to engage community stakeholders on SEC policies and procedures and adopt best practices. And just to clarify, I misspoke on the renaming of our program. It is called Reimagine Revitalize Program, R2 is what we're calling it. So to that end, Madam Chair, I think I have one more slide that I'd like to share before you move to the vote. Again, you all are familiar with this particular initiative within the strategic plan that outlines all of the key activities as to how my staff and I are working toward addressing the findings, the recommendations included in the strategic plan. So I'm always bringing that to the forefront because this is driving a lot of our work. So I'm going to kick it back over to you, Madam Chair, to entertain any questions.
Thank you so much, E.D. McGee. Councillor Jefferson.
I'll wait. Let's take the do the protocol, take the vote. To make the motion. It'll be a readiness.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract.
So move.
Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion, Councilman Jefferson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, this is a question for the Executive Director, Madam Chair. You may also add to it. I'm trying to figure out, is this a contract for a specific entity or an individual?
It's for an entity that is called Miranda Creatives. So it's an agency. It's a real organization, fully vetted, on our minority list of vendors within the state of Connecticut. So it's not an individual, although the name might suggest that, but it is an agency.
Okay, and
If I can-
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to add, so Maria Miranda is the principal for Miranda Creative. She has done work with the state before, including with the Connecticut Paid Leave. If you go to their website, if you see their commercials, if you've seen any of the ways in which they've engaged the community, that is not to take anything away from the fantastic team at Paid Leave, but the sort of strategic marketing around that was through Miranda Creative.
Thank you. And my second question, help me understand or simplify for me how this will serve as a substitute for something that we employed in the past. So in terms of marketing and anything else.
Yeah, great question, and thank you, Counselor. I believe what is a stark difference is that number one, we have a plan to inform our work, and a lot of you, as my counselors and the board that oversee this agency, participated in an 8-month strategic planning process. And so a lot of the recommendations have come from there and have informed this scope of work. In addition, this scope of work will also inform the hiring of a marketing development manager that will be sustained and help us so that we don't have to have a vendor any longer. But a lot of this work, again, is informed by the strategic plan, and it is extremely different from what has taken place in the past with respect to moving away from tchotchkes, if you would, to more of strategic communications and messaging around our programming and supporting our social equity entrepreneurs.
Let me be more specific. Will it take the place of hiring a community-based organization to do a focus group, for example?
Yes. We have, and I'll add to that. Yes, it will replace hiring a community entity to help drill in and implement the recommendations from our strategic plan. However, there will be opportunities to continue conversations with community as we reimagine the work through our reinvestment programs. But with respect to some of this strategic implementation from our strategic plan, it's best that we hire a vendor to help us with this work.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Counselor Jefferson. Counselor Shirley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Will this be the entity that we can look to for market information in terms of how we're doing in sales and the numbers of vendors in each category, or as we talk about communication, I'm just trying to get a sense of yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. It's a great question, so I'll be excited to answer it.
Is that the entity that will be doing that as well as what you just enunciated?
That is not a part of their scope at the moment. However, should we increase funding in that line item, which has already been approved, to hire this vendor to help us with a comprehensive audience-specific communications plan, a lot of their discovery will include identifying market trends, et cetera, but they will not hone in under this particular contract. We will, however, reach out to many of our partners, Department of Consumer Protection, the Connecticut Cannabis Chamber, and we have our own counselors of cognizance who can help us with research, Charles Venator and others over at UConn. And so we have a lot of knowledge on our council, not limited to, but I believe this comprehensive audience-specific communications plan will help us with a foundation so that in the coming days or so, we're able to articulate a bit smarter, if you would, on where the market is, where we should be going, how should we plan our budget so that we're in better support to many of our social equity entrepreneurs.
Okay. Thank you, Director. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilor Shirley. And if I can just add, I know we have a fantastic research analyst, and I'm sure I saw Caesar sort of smiling a little bit when the topic of research and marketing came about. So I'm sure he is also going to be very much involved in the securing of that information. Councilor Hawkins.
Thank you. Oh, I'm really pleased that we are at this place. I think about a year ago, when there was a lot of marketing being done, but there was nothing really to hook it to. So I'm feeling really good that we have articulated a strategic plan. The marketing is going to connect in various ways to that plan and our deliverables that are stated within. So I'm really proud of us as a council that we are here a year later, connecting our strategic plan to marketing efforts. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of the hard work that has gone into it by the staff in this council.
Thanks, Councilor Hawkins. You took the words right out of my mouth. So thank you for that. And just for the purpose of clarity, the reason why this is being brought forward to this council, we do have a rule as part of our policies that anything above a certain threshold must be approved by this entire council. So Director McGee, if you can just share with the council the amount of the contract and the term of the contract, I think that would be very helpful context for the record.
Absolutely. I'm just pulling it up here. We have essentially a 6-month contract. It is a total of $64,550. And I have a breakdown of the tasks related to the scope of work, and it goes into great length and detail. Should any of the counselors be interested in having those numbers, we have those readily available. But again, this is, we RFP'd it out so that all could apply. Only one entity actually responded to our RFP. And I'm really excited that it is Miranda Creatives that responded and was awarded pending, this vote. So I'll yield back to you.
Thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge that Councilor Venator and Councilor Walton have joined us. Thank you so much for being here. With that, I do not see any other hands. We have a motion and a second, so I will try the minds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you, Director McGee.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is our Social Equity Council updates. So back to you for that.
Awesome. And I promise you all, it'll be really quickly because I know y'all want to get back to your lives. So Madi, can we bring back up the presentation and go directly to slide 7? As we're getting that deck up, in most organizations and boards, in this case, our council, we have those end of the year organizational meetings. So I did not want to take time on our regular council meeting to go through this. And I thought it was extremely important for us to do a very quick run through of where we are as an organization. So you all see our council membership. Can't thank y'all enough for your support. Again, welcome Greg Davis as one of our new council members. And I think we're at capacity, right, Chair Comer? So this is amazing. Next slide, please. This is all of our staff, okay? You have myself, Christina, Madi, Karen, Jennifer, Vera, Tiffany, Cesar, Jennifer, Stevens. This is the mighty group that's helping to move our mission forward alongside each of you. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the Department of Economic and Community Development, specifically Kyle, for just being a great partner in this work, but also being extremely supportive as a council member. Next slide. All right, so I know y'all are familiar with this, but for the record, You all know that we have had an examination of our organization by the Office of the State Comptroller, audits, strategic plan. And one of the things that I think is extremely important is that, and I think Mr. Shirley will appreciate this as the chair of the Policy and Governance, we are following our regulation of the adult use cannabis, and we're constantly reminded of what is being called out in statute. But most importantly, we add the meat to the bones, right? So they laid the foundation, we're developing from there. And so I wanted to put that back out front and center, and you all will receive a copy of the entire chapter 420 of our regulation. Next slide. And it goes on to talk a little bit about our members under the regulation of adult use. I am not going to read verbatim. Again, it spells out who we are, what we're doing, and how we are made up as a council. Next slide. Ethics, please, y'all, if you haven't already, please complete your online ethics training. If you are in need of a link, my team will be sure to send that out so that you have a refresher. If you don't have it, please just flag it, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, whatever it is we need to do. We want to make sure that we remain in compliance. You all have been successful in completing these trainings, but let's continue to do so. And these are some of the required forms: disclosure of conflict of interest, acknowledgement of your onboarding completion, Ethics 101, and then your statement of financial interests. Next slide. All right. This is also just an example of our organizational model. We're still flushing this out. We're going to be working with our Policy and Governance Committee to tighten up on this and hear from counselors, yay or nay, whether they like this organizational model. I think it's well reflective of where we are as an organization and where we are trying to go. You will notice there are blue buckets at the bottom, if you would, that represent council, and then green represents staff. And then there are lines that show that we are, working hand in hand because a lot of your advisement, your recommendation, it informs the work that we do operationally. And so in the coming days, at some point, there will be our staff liaisons who will support, as they've done in the past, but be required during these committee meetings to provide you all with very thorough reports in advance so that we are having more productive and efficient, conversations around the programs that are spelled out on this organizational model. But a lot of this is just showing how we work together and how staffing is situated within the SEC. Next slide. All right, this is the most important piece. I rushed to get here. All of you are on a committee. And again, thank you so much to each of our chairpersons. Thank you all so much for the work that you all continue to do. But I want to make sure that we all are on a committee. We all understand the shift in terms of the cadence of our meetings. We've moved a lot of our SEC committee meetings from monthly, based on you all's feedback, to quarterly, okay? And it'll allow us to get some work done and have some meatier and more substantive conversations when we are within our committee meetings. So you see we have our Policy Governance Committee, our Finance Committee, Reinvestment Workforce Development Committee. Next slide. Our Legislative Committee, and most importantly, if you ask me, alongside finance, we have our strategic planning, which will be an opportunity for my team to interface with the strategic planning committee to update committee members on where we are. Are we meeting deadlines within our roadmap that is also included in that 65-page strategic document that's been shared with the council, and just making sure in real time we're hearing directly from council members. Next slide. This is just a snapshot, you all, of council full meetings and our committee meetings. As you can see, all of our committee meetings, again, we will be meeting quarterly. We have all of the dates and times of which I will show you right here. Thank you. So you'll see everything, and you'll get a copy of this, y'all, immediately following the meeting. So, you don't have to take any notes. We'll make sure you have a copy of all of the changes that we've made. And I'll pause here for a second. Any questions regarding our 2025 SEC Council meeting schedule?
I do not see any hands.
Awesome. So I'm going to pause here. Madi, do you want to go ahead and conduct the quick survey? We want to make sure we have all of our counselors on the correct committees. I don't want to make an assumption that we have accurate lists. So at this time, if you want to drop, oh, there you go. Voila. My staff, please do not participate in the survey. This is only for council members.
Oh, it actually says hosts and panelists cannot vote.
Oh, that sucks. And that's probably why Andrea Hawkins is raising her hand. Can we, Georgette, is
Just
it
give us a
possible?
second. I think Georgette knows how to fix it. Yeah. Just
Okay,
give us
perfect.
1 second. She'll be able to fix it.
Counselor Hawkins, was that why you raised your hands, or do you have something else?
Oh, sorry. That's a
No,
grave assumption
That's
there.
okay. So you said, the question is, which ones do we want to join? Like, if we think we're already on a couple of them, is there a need to vote, or are you trying to validate where people are now?
The latter. I'd love
Okay,
to
perfect.
validate. I know where my
Yeah.
chairs are. I know where, those folks are, but it's really
Okay.
hard to go based on old data. And I want to just clean up everything and make sure we're all kind of clear on, which committees we're on.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am. Can you all see it now, or are you able to vote?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
And,
Thank you. We're trying to maximize technology here. So instead of sending you a follow-up email to take a survey, let's just do it now, get it out of the way. I think Councilor Gaddis has his hand raised.
Counselor Gaddis. You're on mute if you're talking.
I was just playing around to figure out how to make the hand black. So I don't have any questions. I just wanted my hand black. I'm just toying around with stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Gaddis. Counselor Venator.
Sorry, so I missed the list. I just put where I would like to be, but I said wherever you need me. But I just don't know if you've already appointed me to a committee. I missed that.
I don't know that folks have been appointed already.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There's usually, as part of the onboarding, we ask what you would like to be on. So I think he's trying to memorialize where folks
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Counselor Medina.
Hey, folks, just raising my hand for attendance purposes that I'm here and I joined late. Apologies.
So noted.
Madam Chair, may I just say you have full council participation tonight. This is really cool. Thank you.
So cool. Right. Has everybody?
Is there anyone that needs more time to answer before we close the survey? We're good. Thank you.
Awesome. And I think I just have one other slide and we're done.
Okay.
And we can jump right to upcoming events, Madi. All right, shameless plug, y'all. The office hours, they're available. Please use them. I'm waiting for y'all. And then we also have our regular council meeting next Tuesday, 10 a.m., we'll be visiting Mike Jefferson up there at the Capitol. So we'll be in room 310. Excited to have you all. There'll be some coffee and maybe a muffin. Okay, we work for the state. And then lastly, we are hosting 2 virtual roundtables. You all are welcome to attend. You don't have to speak. We will acknowledge you if you so choose. You want to speak, by all means, you have space. But this is an opportunity for Christina to provide legislative updates, and also for the SEC, quite frankly, to hear real time what's going on with many of our social equity entrepreneurs. I also, we will be sharing at the larger meeting on February 4th, some revisions made to the social equity plan that was called out in the state comptroller's report, and also recommendations made within the strategic plan. And so we'll have an update for you then. That concludes my updates, Madam Chair. I am open for any questions. I know folks want to get back to their lives.
I do not see any hands. So I am just going to echo Director McGee's many thanks for all of you taking the time this evening. And for those who started on day one, for staying committed to the journey. For those of you who have joined us recently, thank you so much for your time and your talent. I won't say treasure because we haven't asked you for any money. And if there is nothing else on anyone else, Councilor Gaddis.
Madam Chairwoman, I move to adjourn. Very good meeting, very good.
I'm sorry, Councilor Jefferson, did you have something? I
No,
saw
I'm
you-
seconding the motion.
Oh, okay.
Now,
All
we've
right.
got
very
that
good.
fancy camera that comes in when he moves, it kind of.
Yes. I was
Yeah.
like,
right?
I see y'all leaning in. All right. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to presume no one is opposed. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and thank you again.
See you
Good
all.
night, everyone.
Thank you.
Night.